Hi, I'm the Gadget Guru Andy Parr, and this is TheVOG.net. Well, this bike right here speaks volumes. You look at it, and it's totally unique. It's the Honda Rune. Now, this bike evolved from the Valkyrie lineup as well as the Gullwing lineup. It features a six-cylinder engine. It's not the same six-cylinder that you'll see on the Valkyrie or the Gullwing because it's been tweaked for this bike. The styling is sleek and unique. Well, what's it like to own a Honda Rune? With me right now is the proud owner of this bike. This is Larry. Larry, how long have you owned this Honda Rune?
I've owned this bike about a year.
Now, is this your first bike?
Oh no, I've had many bikes before this.
What were some of the other bikes you've had?
The very first bike was a Honda 90. I went from that to larger Jap bikes and then finally to Harley Superglide back in the 70s. And from that point, I didn't own a motorcycle for almost 30 years.
Wow, so you did take a long break.
Yes, I did.
So you just got back into it a year or so ago when you picked up this bike?
Well, I saw this bike on the highway and I said, what is that? I never saw anything so revolutionary in all my life other than total custom bikes at a bike show. So I went to the Honda dealer and asked them what it was, and they didn't know. So finally I found the right person. He said, yes, the Honda Rune. Fabulous motorcycle. We don't have it. They only built it 2 years, 2004, 2005. So I asked him if there's any more available. He checked their Honda warehouse and he said, we've got a few left. So I bought one and have enjoyed it ever since.
You've owned a number of other bikes. You're a seasoned rider. How do you compare riding this to the other bikes you've owned?
Well, it's a cruiser. It's for going down the beach roads and just cruising along at lower speeds. It's not great for high speeds, although it's capable of doing 125 miles an hour. But it's very smooth. It has the six-cylinder engine, a 5-speed, fairly economical, 30 miles a gallon, and just a great bike to ride. The seat is very comfortable. The handlebars are just right for me, for my shape and size.
How is it in slow-speed maneuvering?
Slow speed, it's a little bit awkward. It has a fairly long wheelbase.
Yes, I mean, this is a long bike.
It makes it a little bit challenging at very low speeds. And I'm fairly lightweight, so it's a little hard to throw my weight around and maneuver it. But I've gotten used to it, and it's very easy to operate.
How's it feel making U-turns in this now?
U-turns are always a challenge.
Okay, let's talk about the bike. Now, this can convert from a single passenger to a double passenger.
Yes, I've got a Corbin seat that'll fit on there. It's a 2-passenger seat, and it's very comfortable for both.
Is it pretty easy to change?
It's very easy to change. There's a key you put into the side, unlocks the seat, pops right out, and the other seat goes right in.
Oh, so you don't need any tools for it?
No, no tools at all.
I got to tell you, I hope the other manufacturers are listening because that is a really good feature.
It is. It's great.
Let's talk about the riding position. Now, when you sit down, you have a lot of real estate here in front of you.
I certainly do.
Okay. Do you find that you have to reach, or does it feel pretty comfortable for your height?
It's comfortable. There's a little bit of reach here. The Rune came with one of 2 handlebars. This one extends back a little bit more. Another handlebar goes a little bit more forward, so you'd have to...
So it changes it from almost a sport bike feel to a cruiser feel.
True, yes.
Okay. Now, how about your legs?
The riding position is great. The legs are at 90 degrees. There's no vibration in the foot pegs at all. The handlebar location is perfect. I have no complaints.
Now, is this a stock seat?
Yes, it is.
Okay, how is it on comfort?
Comfort is great. It's maybe a little bit small for some people, but for my frame, it's perfect.
If you could change anything about this bike, as an owner, what would you change?
I'd probably put a V8 in. I'm just kidding.
Well, they do have the Boss Hoss for that, but for 6-cylinder is not enough.
No, I have no complaints about the bike. I'm not a professional analyst on motorcycles by any means, but for me, it's a perfect bike for cruising.
Okay, tell me about the looks and stares you get while riding around.
It grabs quite a bit of attention. You're moving along on the highway, and people will look by and stare at you. A few people have pointed. But it does get some attention.
Okay, let's set up this scenario. You're at a stoplight, somebody rolls down the window in a car next to you. What do they ask you?
How much did it cost?
Well, that's a good question. How much did it cost?
Out the door was about $25,000.
Okay, that's not too bad because, the thing is it has the look of a custom bike, but you really don't have to put a lot of additional accessories onto it.
None at all.
Okay, what other questions do they ask?
Well, how do I like riding it? And someone asked me that after driving off the showroom, and I told him, I said, well, after driving it about half a mile, it's great.
Okay, so now you've logged quite a few miles on it. Give me your final impression of this bike.
Well, after driving only 1,500 miles, it's overall a very great bike. Great handling. The front end is very unique. The brake rotors are very large. The stopping ability is fabulous. The back end is fairly smooth. With the passenger, it's a little bit rougher, but that's an adjustable rear suspension with a hydraulic reservoir.
Okay, with the six-cylinder engine, when you're in stop-and-go traffic, does it get hot on you?
It does. When the radiator starts blowing, it sends out hot air on your legs, so it can get a little bit warm, but not hot. I have not found it to be a problem here in South Florida at all.
Okay, my next question has to do with, what does it sound like? First, are these the stock exhausts?
Yes, this is stock pipes, and it's very quiet.
Okay, do you like it quiet, or you want to give it some more sound?
No, it's fine quiet. It's loud enough for me, but other people may not hear me.
Okay, well, I tell you, you want to crank it up and let's take a listen? Larry, I have to tell you, it has a very nice purr. What I like about it, it's not a loud bike. It has the feeling of power. It's almost like a Goldwing on steroids type of sound.
Just about. I think it has a little bit more power, although Honda didn't advertise a horsepower that I know of. But the engine's been modified, tuned. I think it breathes a little bit easier, so it's fairly quick.
When you're riding, is there any vibration at all?
No vibration at all. At higher RPMs, when you get to 90, 100 miles an hour, a little bit of vibration, but that's understandable with the road and the RPMs of the engine, but it's very smooth.
Okay, Larry, I'm looking at the front end. First of all, the headlight jumps out at you. It looks like there's a lot of other mechanisms in here. What's going on with the front end?
Well, the front end, I really can't explain exactly the configuration, but it's not the typical tube configuration on most motorcycles. It has a cantilever type assembly and a central shock absorber and two other shock absorbers that work in tandem and opposite of the typical front suspension.
How does that translate to the rider while riding?
Well, the front end is very smooth. It absorbs road shock very, very well, and I have to attribute that to the rake as well as the configuration of the front end.
Larry, it's a really clean, very high chromed look from the rider's perspective looking forward. But there's not a speedometer. Where is it?
Well, it's built into the gas tank. In this area here, it's recessed. It's all digital gauges, and there's a speedometer, the gas gauge, a couple other gauges back in there.
So you can, at a glance, without taking your eyes up too long off the road, you can just see how much gas is remaining.
It's very easy to.
Okay, what else is located down in this area?
Well, up here we have some lights, various lights, turn signals, a security system, neutral, high beams are all built into this area.
In closing, would you recommend this bike to a friend?
I would. I think it's a great bike for what it is, for cruising.
Do you feel that if you were to attach a windshield, that this could turn into a highway cruiser?
It could be a cruiser, but not a long-distance cruiser, simply because of the air, the fatigue factor.
Okay, and also there's not a lot of places for storage on here for trips.
There isn't. You'd have to put saddlebags on, and that would destroy the look of the bike.
Okay, I know you had told me you had just returned from California where you rented a Harley Ultra. How would you compare the two bikes?
Well, the Ultra is a great motorcycle for touring, and we drove through mountains, a lot of switchbacks, up and down, a lot of shifting, and it was a great bike. Has a lot of low-end torque, was very smooth at higher RPMs. It was a great bike. You're talking apples and oranges when you're talking the Ultra versus a Rune. Harley was a fabulous bike, and we enjoyed every minute of it.
Larry, let me take a moment to thank you for your time. It's such a pleasure to see this bike up close and personal. I've seen them from afar, I've walked by them, but to hear the description from an owner is really a great experience. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Andy.
For TheVOG.net, I'm the Gadget Guru, Andy Parr.